Hey, thanks for tuning in. We are LivingFit, your trainer's trainer. We not only have education courses for trainers to upgrade their game, but we have full on follow along programs, workouts, exercise breakdowns, nutrition plans, and fitness equipment for you to reach your fitness goals. Now, enjoy the show.
What's going on, everybody? Aaron Guyett, LivingFit's education director, and this is the LivingFit Show. And I have the incredible pleasure and honor to interview Scott Rammage. So Scott Rammage, he has a couple of things going, and I think that we're going to find out that those couple of things going, there's ways to really improve our ability to have a few things going. So he's got Stories That Sell as a rad podcast that is just starting to drop some incredible stories that sell. And then he's got Brotherhood of Fatherhood, another incredible podcast if you're a father and you're looking for a little bit of brotherhood and maybe some accountability or some ways to help improve that realm of your life. But most importantly, and the thing that we're probably going to talk about the most, is he is co-owner of JS Collaborative. So without further ado, let's just jump right in right there. How did you get into the fitness industry, Scott?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, before I even went to grad school, I had this idea that I wanted to be a personal trainer. I got a personal trainer, got a lot of results right out of college, and kind of fell in love with that process. What I realized is I really just enjoyed having someone to work out with and tell me what to do. And I kind of changed that direction, ended up with getting a master's degree in education, but kind of came full circle in mid 2000s when this is going to sound really weird, but I was on a cruise on doing the Greek islands, and on that cruise were, it must have been like 15 gym owners, and it was crazy. It was a small cruise. It was actually it was a sailboat. It was huge, but it was a sailboat. So it was really cool, really amazing experience. But I'm sitting here at dinner and meeting new people, and all these gym owners, and they're like, "Hey, what do you do?" And I've always been entrepreneurial. I'd owned a bike shop, so I was in that element of fitness years before, and did some bike racing and was very into that scene through my graduate years and postgraduate as I was a teacher. So at this time, I was kind of like semi-retired in my 30s, and I was on this cruise, and everyone was telling me how amazing CrossFit was. And I'd never done CrossFit. I'm like, oh, that's that crazy thing. It's so stupid. And they got kettlebells. I think some of them brought kettlebells. They're doing workouts every day on the deck. And I was a little like soft, I wasn't fat, but I was soft. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I just sat and really picked the brains of business owners on that entire cruise, and came home and immediately found a personal trainer who used CrossFit methodology, functional fitness methodologies, and fell in love like hard and fast. And in 2014, as I'd opened multiple businesses, it was a no-brainer for me. I was kind of bored. I opened a gym, had no clue what I was doing, and it grew like wildfire. It was very successful, very fast. I was really seated in the community, so it was kind of an easy in for me, a lot of warm leads. And I did that, sold it to relocate to Texas. That was in Oregon, and got a corporate job. And then I got recruited into another fitness brand. And some friends of mine, actually one of the guys I met on that cruise, it's just so weird how full circle this came. He's like, "Hey, I see you're doing sales and customer service. We have a brand new company. We suck at it. Come run this for me." And so then I was fully vested into this, the fitness world again, working with gym owners all over the world. And it was just extraordinary. So that's how I got back into fitness. But of course, it completely changed my life. I stopped being soft and got fit. And you know how fitness just completely rolls, and everything starts to work better when you start getting fit. So from that moment on, it was like, this is never ending.
Yeah, I always think it's interesting and fascinating. And it's really the thing that has helped me fall in love even more with fitness, is that whole idea that as we change our physiology, our psychology really starts to transform as well. And yeah, obviously your story is no different. So it's pretty rad. Clearly your story has a couple of avenues that we can jump down. First and foremost, it's been my dream and desire to sail the Mediterranean. I've sailed a couple of other cool spots or whatever. So the fact that you got to do that and explore some Greek islands, I'm super jealous, but yeah.
Yeah.
So were you actually manning the ship and like pulling sheets and all? No. Okay, cool.
No, it was like the world's biggest sailboat or ship. So it was a yacht. And, you know, I don't know how much of the sails went up every day. I don't know how much they were using, but if it was only for effect, it doesn't matter. It was insanely cool. But, you know, there's probably 300 people on there, maybe 200 people. So it was big.
Wow.
Yeah. But still an amazing experience.
Yeah. So. And interesting that, these fitness buffs came on there, brought their kettlebells and are slinging them around on a ship. Well, number one, I think that's a little bit dangerous. But number two, that's pretty rad that they're that committed. Okay. So then obviously you're getting into, all sorts of other stuff, including owning a gym, selling a gym. So we have a ton of people that either want to own gyms or they own gyms currently, right? That follow Living Fit, take some of our courses and whatnot. Let's jump into, because I've owned a gym and sold a gym. You've owned a gym, sold a gym. Marcus Martinez, our fellow master coach in Living Fit, he's owned a gym, sold a gym. We understand that it is not as easy as it might seem. On the front end, you think, oh yeah, I'll just own a gym. All I have to do is like teach some training. But what we realize is you're starting to wear 28 different hats, and a lot of those hats are business hats. Legal, marketing, all these things, right? And it's like things that you never thought that you would need to know getting into fitness, but you need to know it in order to run a successful, or at least a semi-successful gym, right? So maybe you can talk a little bit about that, like some of that journey and how that has helped you form basically like VAs for Gyms, right? Which is behind you, or any of these things that can really help the everyday gym owner or wannabe gym owner.
Yeah, like, getting that your hands on. And I said I'd owned businesses before, brick and mortar businesses, service business, sales business. And it came natural till it really wasn't anymore. Like you when you start a business, I'm sure all of you who own businesses know you do everything yourself. And you start, it's all grind. It's all the hours, you're painting the walls, you're setting up the equipment, which is no small task. And you kind of go through this evolution to a place where it's like that, I can't do it all. And so I had actually gotten in my business to a point where I started to like coach less, but I was still doing all the crappy stuff, which, and then I sold it. I was at a great place to sell it. And I just was, I was wearing 40 hats and doing like 3 of those really well. When I got into the company that I was working for, it was kind of a startup, and I came in and man, I took like operations were my thing. I'm getting in the weeds. I'm creating the sales process, helping create the sales process. I'm creating the customer journey. I'm creating like, if then this happens, then that, all the operations, creating SOPs for everything. And I got super fascinated with the business of business and really what somebody can do to really hone in and elevate their business prowess and not work 90 hours a week and still have massive success. And so I really became a student of that. And because of the position I was in, like I said, I was talking to gym owners all over the world. It was an absolutely unique, wonderful experience where I really dove in they started asking me a lot of questions, and I just started to understand operations and the business model so much better than I ever had before. And so I just became a student of the gym business, all sizes. And for me, it was fascinating. I like to fix things. I like to solve problems, and I like to put systems into place. So it kind of was just this really natural progression. I'm doing it for a company, and now I'm talking to gym owners, and I'm just getting all of this data in. This came full circle a couple of years back, a year and a half ago. I was running a gym mastermind for gym owners, and I was leading that, and it was, I had a lot on my plate prior to this. So let me step back. 2.5 years ago, I became a student of being more productive. And because I had so much work, and if I have 90 hours of work a week, I'm going to do 90 hours of work a week. I'm probably going to do 92 hours of work a week. And I was good at it, but no matter what, you're going to miss things, and things are going to get out of order. And I'm the guy that something comes across the desk. I'm like, I got to do it now. I'm going to do it to my best. And then everything starts to get jumbled. So I became a student of figuring out a personal operating system. You know, Tim Ferriss talks about it, but my boss at the time was really into this, and he started just kind of giving me little tidbits. And I became a student of learning exactly how I could run myself where I never missed a beat. I prioritized, I understood what my value was and how to organize things. And what I found through doing that is that when I prioritized and organized in a pretty complex fashion, which is now second nature to me, I was doing everything, and about half of it was being used. So, you know, the owner would say, hey, we should do this. And I would just go and do it. I mean, I'd have it done in 2 days, massive project, like, holy crap. Well, we changed our mind. And that happened to me over and over and over again. And so when I got this system in place and really started to fine tune it, I was able to really spend time on the things I needed. And those things would kind of come to surface that they actually needed to be done. So I stopped spinning my wheels. And so I started teaching other gym owners this and other friends this. Well, that kind of leads into the Brotherhood of Fatherhood. I'm working like 60, 70 hours a week for this company. I'm doing a few little projects myself, and I decided to start the Brotherhood of Fatherhood with a friend of mine. We start a podcast, and I have zero time to do any of it. And so I decide I'm going to do what everybody tells you to do and hire a virtual assistant, except for you're going to see a pattern here. I became a student of how to hire a virtual assistant. I spent tons of hours. I interviewed people. I looked for every trick, and I developed the system. I hired somebody. I felt like I'd found a unicorn, but really it was just that I'd put all these processes together. And before I knew it, I had like 20 hours of my work that I was contracting for done for me. Like I wasn't doing anymore. All these reports were coming out. Everything was happening. My podcast was being edited. Now it's up on YouTube, which it wasn't before. And now I've got social media being created from it. And I had this little machine. I had like this little thing hovering over me, doing all this stuff for me. So we're coming back to the mastermind, and gym owners, I'm like, you guys have got to get a virtual assistant. It's like the next level personal operating system here. It's like human automation. And things that I can't automate through technology. I have these amazing, at that point, 3 people working for me, and it's dirt cheap.
Right.
And so they started saying like, well, look, we've tried, we failed. They disappear on us. They don't do good work. It's too hard to figure out how to pay them. Every time I get someone good, they go away and I have to start over again. And they're like, can we use yours? No, you cannot. These are my little unicorns. You cannot use them. You can go get your own, right? And I had a good buddy of mine who has a very big gym, and he said, hey, look, Scott, I don't have any interest. Just do me a favor and let me use yours. So I let him use my team, and immediately he's like, this is incredible. And the light bulb came on. I'm like, this solves a problem. And from that moment on, just started putting together a team of virtual professionals who are experts in mostly the gym industry, but small businesses all run the same. And VAs For Gyms was born from that because I'm so passionate about operations. I'm so passionate about using your time wisely. And look, I know what it's like to be a business owner. And man, you just grind. You're always, I hate that word, but it's the truth. You're just always working. You're always trying to keep up. Emails are coming in. I should be running this report. I should be looking better at my numbers. I should be sending emails to my members, all these things. And so that light bulb came on, and VAs For Gyms was born right away, and was an immediate success.
Yeah. You hate the word grind because it's redundantly true, right? It's like true and true and true. And it keeps coming up because this is what it is. Right. Man, that is fascinating. So then let's talk about so first of all, I think for those of you that have heard this and are like, man, Scott just hit the pain point for me, right? Like nail on the head. How would they get into and figure out how to start leveraging VAs for gyms?
Yeah. And let me be honest with you. I'm happy to share it with anybody. I have this, and it's not a lead magnet. It's not a funnel. It's just, I did a presentation once teaching people how to hire their own rockstar VA. The problem with that is when you go through my process, you're like, that's great, Scott. That's like 30 or 40 hours of work. I'm like, yeah, that's what I put into each hire. Like, I know what it takes to get the right person and keep them. And so even doing that, people are like, no, I just want to hire you. So the way that we're different is that when a gym or a client comes on, they're not getting a VA. They're getting the entire team of VAs, which is completely different from any other service I know. And that's why I'm so excited about this, because it solves so many problems for business owners. You get a project manager, you kind of get trained on how to use the system. You start assigning work. We even have SOPs already done. Like, you can just pick them like, hey, I need my Google My Business page like updated. I need more leads. It's SEO. We will do that. Like within a day, we can have that running. And we're doing all of that in the background. So we have all these things built out. Well, the beauty of it is you come on, we train you how to use our system, and you just start assigning work, and we start just picking up work. We have video editors, we have audio editors, we have YouTube specialists, we have social media managers who understand the analytics and how to boost those. And they send the designers work, like your Facebook banner stinks. It needs to have this, this, and this. We have blog writers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So when a client comes in, depending on what they need done, it's all kind of just going on in the background. And you're not managing one person. And then the beauty of this is, how many of you love to hire people, train them, pay them, and then if they leave, you start all over again. And so it's a whole pain point. I'm really good at it, so I just do it. So that's VAs for gyms. We have individuals who use us for 150 hours a week. Yeah. I don't know how many employees we're replacing, and we're talking about high level editing and all sorts. Creating those awesome member interview videos and doing their entire social media for them. So it's massive leverage, and I'm just so happy to be able to help a problem that I had for so many years. Yeah, no,
so
that's VAs for.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's it. That's incredible. So just going back through that again, they could check it out at vasforgyms.com. Is that pretty simple? Right. So and because I guarantee there's hundreds, thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of trainers and gym owners that are hearing this that are like, that's what I need, because I have too much work and not enough week. And most of us were singing that same song. So totally get it. And actually, Marcus and I have something called Level 4, where we help gym owners or trainers or basically level up their network and then level up their education. And a lot of it's like fitness education, programming, things like this, coaching and cueing and all of that stuff. But there's a huge piece that, we try to also help with, which is that networking piece is like, hey, connect with this person for, this aspect of business or this aspect of accounting or this aspect of leveraging your social media or, whatever it might be. So this is huge. We'll easily just throw this right into that hopper and showcase this for our level 4s, as well as obviously anybody who listens to this interview can get it straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. And then I just wanted to talk and understand a little bit more. So it's like all of that stuff is accounting, it's taxation, it's legal, it's social media, it's basically everything. Or are there a couple of things that might be missing, or a couple of things that you've added where maybe I'm missing?
So if you're doing it, we can do it. Because if you're doing it and it doesn't require eyeball to eyeball, bootstrap to bootstrap, we can do it. That's literally because we have our system where we train you how to train the team. So even if it's something you're doing and it takes you 2 hours, it's like, just do it one very last time and record it we get that recording. We create an SOP step by step. So anybody, like if a team member leaves, we have an SOP in place, plug and play. They look at it, they follow it step by step. And then we set up a schedule to do whatever. So yeah, I mean, we're doing payroll. We're doing, we have clients that are physical therapists, chiropractors, ophthalmologists, and we're even doing things that are HIPAA compliant. So in multiple countries as well. So actually, yeah, the list is pretty unlimited. We have web folks, we have funnel builders. Like,
man,
one of the most exciting products, and I want to share this with you because it's what I developed when I very first started with my first virtual professional, was what I call a social media machine. And it's basically Gary Vee has what's called a reverse content pyramid. He says to create one really good piece of long form content. And that can be like a member interview, like a client interview. It can be a podcast. It can be just you, selfie video, whatever. It can be 10 minutes long. It can be an hour long. Then our team goes, like, this is why I podcast. I can do one podcast and I have 30 assets for social media. And so that's what I do for Brotherhood of Fatherhood. You know, someone comes on, you were a guest on that, which was awesome. You come on and I'll have like that stuff mapped out for months. And so now when I go into my social media, we do this for our clients. Like when you have some amazing things to put out there, but you want really rich content, and using that Gary Vee model is like insanely rich. And then when you're feeling the juice running and you want to post something, this is how I run all my socials. When I'm feeling it, I go in and breathe fire on whatever I'm wanting to talk about at that moment. But there's no stress because there's other things dropping all the time. And I could go into all the analytics of why your Facebook page should have like 2 to 3 pieces of content every day. Why your Google My Business needs to have like 4 pieces of content hitting every week, which is massive. You know, it's all this work. That's one of the biggest things people really tap into that seems to be move the needle for them in their business as well.
And so where are some of what are some of the success stories that you've had, either yourself or some of your clients have had, where it's like they were kind of fumbling and bumbling and stumbling and wearing the 38 different hats, and then they got some virtual assistant, ass, if you will, right? Just some ways to really move the needle, like you said, and then it just changed. And obviously none of this stuff happens overnight. It takes a little bit of time, but can you share maybe a story or two of that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want this to turn anybody off, but one of the things we also do is help people start their podcasts. And so if you're not interested in podcasts, it's totally fine. I'm like, hey, do an hour and 20 minutes of work a week and you'll have months of content. So we have people literally message us. I've dropped this on our socials that they're like, I'm selling high ticket offers through my podcast because of the content you're creating. And then every person that's come in and for a sale this week has seen the stuff you guys are doing and have mentioned it, that it made that's why they came into my facility over someone else's. We have people who have always wanted to run reports that they've never run before. Like, doing marketing, it sucks. I mean, some people love it, but then even for gyms, do the marketing. We will do all of the analytics and tell you how much are you paying per click? How much are you paying for the lead? How much are you paying for actual acquisition? Break it all down. And so it's really helping gym owners have a real good view into exactly why and what they're doing. I mean, I probably have hundreds of stories. So,
and so is this the stories that sell? Is that are those some of those stories? And obviously some of them are outside of the realm of VAs for Gyms, or, where it's just.
Yeah. I was specifically talking about VAs for Gyms, just the people I've worked with. But the reason stories for sale is business owners have a story to tell. I mean, it's just, there's anybody who started a business is maybe doing online coaching or high ticket coaching or just coaching at a gym. There's a story there, and it's so intriguing learning from other people, listening to their story, because there's so many relatable things, but then there's always lessons on that. And so I just felt moved, like I needed to do something to give back to the business community, specifically those niches, but also I sell our services through that podcast. I did it on my third episode, and so I can also teach people how to leverage that to sell, and it's extremely powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, so getting away from maybe some of the business stuff, and we'll jump into like some of the personal stuff. So let's talk a little bit about your fitness journey. And I know that you had like right before we jumped on the Brotherhood of Fatherhood, you had like a kind of an anomaly little. So are you doing better? Is everything back to normal? Are you able to get out there and crush it again? Or?
Yeah, no. So I'm 48. Apparently my body is not doing what it used to do. I'm a firm believer in doing hard things hard. So always challenging myself every day. Like if I don't have something that pushed me beyond where my comfort zone is, then it's hard to feel accomplished. So I've gotten addicted to doing hard things. So yeah, I was working out. I didn't warm up well enough. My routine was switched. I do a 45-minute walk with my dog every morning. I have a whole morning routine. Actually, it's a ritual at this point. But instead, I didn't do that. I went right into the gym. I warmed the upper body up, but I didn't warm my legs up. I started doing some, I think I was doing Bulgarian split squats, and just heard a massive pop when I went down with that back leg and tore one of my quads. And
so
I actually tried to kneel today, and that was not a fun experience. I think that was like three weeks ago. So it's going to
be a minute. Yeah.
And then I woke up. Yeah. I woke up about 4 days ago and stood up, and I'm like, fell to the ground. My right heel is bruised. It's been tough to walk all week. It's a nighttime injury. I have no clue how this is getting old, but I work out every single day of the week. I don't feel right. I have been doing it for so long that if I don't do it, I feel wrong. It feels wrong. Yeah. So for me, on the weekend, it's much lighter. I'll do 4 miles, and then I'll try and ruck in the afternoon as well. But weights 5 days a week, non-negotiable.
Yeah. So I interviewed Jason Kalipa, CrossFit athlete, now wildly successful fitness business owner.
NC Fit.
Right. And he said exactly the same thing. But there's something to that, consistency. And I feel like that same mindset is probably the reason why you've been able to be successful, sell a gym, build systems and then sell those systems to other people so that their gyms or their businesses could do better. Right? There's something to that. But keeping it on the personal, so you're this personal operating system. What are some of the things that you see as non-negotiables for any person, right? Male, female, older, younger, doesn't matter. Like if you're, and now obviously that's a wild and ambiguous generality maybe, but there's probably some things that it's like, okay, these are I would recommend them as non-negotiables for pursuit of whether it's anything in business or pursuit of anything relationally or what have you. Do you have any of those?
Yeah. Well, I have non-negotiables every single day. First I built out the personal operating system in a functional manner. Like, how do I capture my ideas? How do I organize my ideas? How do I create to-do lists that aren't overwhelming? And how do I create time where I'm not working? Because I will fill all time with work. It is just who I am. And that's really the birth of Brotherhood of Fatherhood, because I have a story where all I did was worked, and I neglected my family and my kids and had an epiphany. And that's a whole nother story. I went $250,000 in debt overnight to buy back my time. Wow. I just closed the business down, lock, stock, and barrel, didn't sell it, didn't go bankrupt. And that's how important it is for me to have some, not balance, but harmony in my life. And so I'm working really hard at that. But a non-negotiable, absolutely. I picked this up from an author, John Gordon, and he talks about his thankful walk. And so every day, part of that 45-minute walk, the first thing I do after my Bible study, which is incredibly important to me, is I I do out loud gratitude out loud in the park and neighborhood for a minimum of 15 minutes. And if I wander, that time doesn't count. So I have to stay like tuned in and focused. And it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, you cannot start your day grumpy if you do that. You just can't. And for me, that's a non-negotiable in my life now. I'm teaching it to my kids at a lesser degree. I didn't do it for so long, and I was so focused on all the things going wrong. And this has been an absolute game changer in my relationships, in my business, in my ability to earn income, in my ability to manage my time. So that one is a non-negotiable to me. And there's many others. I don't know how many.
No, I think this is a good place to even stop. But I do want to say, so yeah, whether it's in the level 4 group, or if I'm teaching a course, or if I'm designing programming or whatever for other gym owners or other trainers or whatever to use, I put in something, that is called PNT, or positive neuroplasticity training, which is the walking gratitude out loud. That would be an example of one of the PNTs that you can do. And you're absolutely right. Like and you think about it, this is a totally achievable thing for anybody who's listening as a non-negotiable. Like, yeah, you can add in all of these, myriad of non-negotiables, but then you're probably going to be overwhelmed, and you're probably going to negotiate with all of them and then not do them. Right. And so the non-negotiable is going to come into.
You got to have it.
Exactly.
You got to do little ones over and over again until they get to.
And what a great one to start with. It's like, okay, start with a minute, or start with 5 minutes or whatever, or even 10 minutes of out loud gratitude. Even if you're embarrassed, like do it in your bathroom. It's interesting that you say that, because that is exactly how my journey into basically training and where I'm at now, and what I do now, and being able to successfully build and sell two fitness businesses, start a nonprofit, all of these things. It's like, it literally started with, I would say it under my breath because I had roommates at the time. I would say basically gratitude statements and affirmations as I jumped into the shower, until I got to the point where I could, believe what I was saying. And I was essentially like faking the funk. But at first it took me like 10 minutes of saying it before I was like, okay, I feel awake, I feel alive, I feel energized, I feel like I can take on the day. I feel gratitude for the opportunities that I get, all this stuff. But it is amazing how that has now turned into, like, much like yourself, this like massive, and not overwhelming, but massive, important and like incredible and lovely, productive morning routine. Right. So, I think that's a great one to put in there. Like, hey, make this your non-negotiable. Go on a walk, out loud gratitude, be the weird guy in your neighborhood.
I am. I'm sure people, they must be thinking I'm talking on the phone, but I see the same people every morning, at 6 a.m. in the dark. people recognize, oh, there's that crazy guy.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, so speaking of crazy guy, and we did a little bit of your fitness, your 48-year-old fitness right now, and so I just I pray and hope that you'll have a fast recovery, and you'll be able to get into the full depth of your routine. I know you're still doing this ritual of work and working out and stuff like that, but obviously with a little bit of some precaution and some being careful with how exactly you're training and programming. But then the massive value of, talking about personal operating system, but then, okay, let's get VAs for gyms to work for us, or let's figure out, how we can get this to leverage our time and really balloon out our productivity, because we're only one person, right? A lot of times if you're a gym owner, or even if you're not and you got a team, you could probably still use some time. So you could be a better father, you could be a better mother, you could be a better spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, or, what have you. So all of that to be said, we ask all of our guests, what is Living Fit to you? And obviously not Living Fit the brand, but Living Fit, this idea or this concept or this principle. What is Living Fit to you, Scott?
That's an Awesome question. I absolutely love it. For me, it's constant progress. And what that means is never settle for where you're at physically and mentally and emotionally. And so you got to have those practice and spiritually, you got to have those practices and those things that are stretching those muscles. It's just like working out. And I kind of look at it as the comfort abundance continuum. On one side, you have comfort, and the only way to get to abundance is to move away from comfort. So do hard things daily. And it's going to be a constant evolution, and you have to do things that really, really make you want to cringe and not do it every day. I'm a firm believer in that, and will be doing that till the day I die at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally resonate with that and love that definition. And that mindset, right? And so my out loud gratitude is thank you so much. What a great opportunity to have you on our show and to speak into so many that are listening and really be able to actually add value and help them out, not only with the small little window of the show, but clearly we just wave topped it. There's so much more. And so hopefully I'm sure we'll have you back on again, and we'll dive into another subject, another topic that will be equally as valuable. But thank you so much, Scott. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Aaron. I love what LivingFit does. It's really cool. And I appreciate the time.
Hey, for more interviews like that, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you're looking for not only those interviews, but follow along programs, exercise breakdowns, workouts, nutrition plans, and fitness equipment for your fitness results, make sure you hop on to living.fit, become a member today, and I'll see you on the next one.